Today is 2 days after surgery. It's Thursday, and I had surgery on Tuesday. I was discharged from the hospital around noon today, and it's about a 10-mile drive, but in traffic it takes about 20 minutes. It was really helpful that I had a pillow to hold on the way home, not for like regular traffic bumps, but like for speed bumps and stuff like that. It just gave me a little bit more support. I spent the afternoon, I watched a couple movies, I got up and walked, worked on protein, drinking liquids since I was no longer on IV, that kind of thing. So here's some interesting things that happened or that were part of my experience, and I'll be honest, I don't exactly remember what I put in the last video because I was coming out of anesthesia. So it'll be a surprise to both of us when I post that. But now that I'm a little bit more clear-headed, I'm going to go over a few things. One is that beforehand, I was really worried about the drain and what that would feel like. The drain coming out of my abdomen is not even really noticeable. It doesn't bug me that much. It's a little bit of confidence that my body is in the healing process and that everything is going well, that when you can't look inside to see, you can see something on the outside. So as kind of gory as that discharge might be, it is also really comforting. The thing that I struggled with the most was actually the NG tube in my nose. It's just a weird experience to be able to see stuff coming out, because sometimes it might look like you almost have a bloody nose, but you don't. Again, it was good confidence. I also ended up on oxygen because my saturation rates were dropping. So I stayed on that the first day, and then we tried to wean off of it, and I was still dipping when I slept. So I'm really thankful to be home and not be on oxygen. They took the NG tube obviously out while I was at the hospital, and I came home with the other drain tube. It has been leaky, so I'm glad that somebody had given me a tip not to wear pajamas that I love or sheets that were like brand new, so I put some other older sheets on, which just makes me feel okay that I don't, it's one less thing to worry about, I guess. Let's see what else. My throat was pretty tender, but as soon as I took the NG tube out, the tenderness slowly went away. Pain has been different. It's kind of like having side stitches after you've been running or working out really hard, but they don't go away. So it's like a general soreness or tiredness to get acquainted with. I don't know that I would call it typically a pain that would be on like a pain scale. That being said, they did tell me that I had a higher pain tolerance than a lot of patients they see. So I understand that's a very individualized experience. But my pain has not been too bad. I went off of the Dilaudid, I'm 99% sure that's what it's called, pain pump. While I was still in the hospital, I went off of that pretty quickly and then went to liquid oxycodone. What's interesting, and I don't know if it's just the change in, you know, how I'm getting that IV versus taking it, but I'm used to taking a pain medication and it working within 30 minutes. This is taking me just a little bit longer than 30 minutes to actually feel it. And the other thing that's tricky is that when I don't feel good, like I'll kind of get cranky or I'll just be irritable and can't really explain it. It feels a little bit like being a child because I don't know if it's that my blood sugar might be low because maybe I need to eat, or maybe I need to go to the bathroom and don't know, or you know, maybe it's pain, or maybe it's just exhaustion and my body telling me to chill out and relax. So it's, you know, I feel like I'm relearning that. As far as going to the bathroom, they took the catheter out yesterday, and it took until this evening for me to actually feel like I needed to go to have any sense of urgency, which is probably too much information, but hopefully will also help somebody else feel a little bit more relieved, because I didn't realize that would necessarily be the case. So yeah, there's been a few things that were surprising. They brought me a ton of different options on my meal trays at the hospital, and broth is something that's always been my go-to, and it just doesn't taste good to me at all. The isopure was good. I tried, I think it's like, I don't know if it's pineapple, banana, maybe strawberry. I don't know. It was actually really good. I've never been a real big, like flavored fruit drinker. Like I like real juices on occasion, but I've never been like a soda or a pop person. So the fact I like that and it's so fruity is kind of interesting to me. The other thing is, for as long as I can remember as a little girl, I did not like milk, like hated milk. And today they brought me milk on my lunch tray, skim milk, of course. And it was one of the best things I've tasted. In fact, it's my favorite thing I've tried so far. So that's kind of interesting. It just tasted sweet to me, or kind of like comfort food in a drink. I don't really know how else to explain that. But definitely can tell my tastes are changing. The other thing is that I still have no interest in food whatsoever. So a really good friend of mine came to take care of me today, which was awesome, just to have somebody else, do everything from help take flowers to the car, to make sure that I was okay, to not worrying, obviously about driving on painkillers, to making sure my prescriptions were taken care of, and all of that. Definitely just lost my whole train of thought. Hi, anesthesia. Um, hmm, I don't know. My friend was really helpful, and I know going into this, I had considered not having help from anybody, and I'm thankful for the people that suggested I might want some help, because it was really nice. The other thing I was going to mention is that my surgery went pretty well. It took a little longer than normal, and my stomach pouch ended up being a little smaller than average because my roux limb was shorter than somebody would normally have, which is fine. I don't really think I'll notice too big of a difference, but there was something just anatomically with my bowels being a little bit different, and so they went in and did surgery, and it still has good outcomes, but I just know that my pouch will be a little smaller than the average person, which in a really weird way right now is kind of comforting. I'm drinking water and protein shakes okay, so I'm not concerned about that at all. Here's something interesting that happened though. So last night I had two IVs, and I had asked why I had two IVs, one in the right, kind of right elbow area, and one in the left hand, like right above my hand. And I would drift off to sleep, and then I'd startle when I woke up. And I don't know why I'm startling or whatever. I think it's just, sometimes your body, when it's in a place that you're not used to, has those types of reactions. But I woke up and my hand hurt so bad. So I turned on the light, and the IV had infiltrated. So all of the fluid that was supposed to be going into my veins was instead just pouring into my left hand, into the tissue. And my hand was so swollen that the circulation was being cut off in two different places. One, just from the medical tape used to put the IV on, because the two pieces of tape touched each other. And the second was my medical bracelet, to check into the hospital, which, as you know, they're not like loose, but it's pretty loose. So you could actually, there was a concern we weren't going to be able to get scissors in between my skin and the bracelet. It was so tight. And my fingers were turning purple, and yeah, that was pretty nifty. So my hand is still swollen. I'm just trying to get knuckles back, which is kind of exciting. And I can touch some of my fingers. Almost all of them. Earlier today, I couldn't bend my fingers. I couldn't touch them together. My wrists ballooned up to like 15.5 centimeters. Big. I think it was centimeters. And then it was 14.5 after we got the IV stopped. And so I've been trying to keep it elevated above my head. I've been trying to put heat on it, to help my body absorb that extra fluid. But yeah, it's made my hand kind of unusable, because like I can't grasp or grip anything. And then you'll see there's gauze taped to it because where the IV hole is just leaking out fluid still. It's slow, but sometimes it'll just start dripping out. So I've gone through quite a few gauze pads. After that happened, they switched to use the IV on my right arm. And as the CNA came in, I don't know, maybe a couple hours later. Sorry, I'm really itchy coming off anesthesia. As the CNA came in a couple hours later, she went to give me, I think she was going to give me some medication or something. But looking down, and all of a sudden my right arm was also puffy. So same thing happened on the right side. And that one we caught quicker, so we were able to turn it off. But I don't know if you can see. You can see kind of that bump. That's where the fluid pocket is. But at least I can still use my right hand. And then they ended up going in on the top right hand side by my wrist bone right there where that line is, to finish me off with fluids before I was discharged. So I'm really thankful that had great medical care. The procedure is challenging. Like, if people try to tell you it's easy, they have no idea. This is my 6th surgery, and this one is definitely different just in the way your body heals. And mentally, my friend Heidi that was here, this is where I was going with that train of thought I lost. She went to go get something to eat, and I said, you can eat in front of me. I don't think it'll faze me. Sure enough, she ate her burrito, and I don't know, I had zero interest in it. It just wasn't anything. It was like watching somebody put on a pair of socks. Like, I just didn't care, which was interesting. And then we went to Target to get a second prescription. Nexium, if you're curious, was the other one that I'll start taking tomorrow. But, like, you're surrounded by food, and there's like a little food court at Target and all of that, and it didn't even faze me. So even if somebody could have explained to me how mentally I would change in just a couple of days, I don't know if I would have believed it. And I am blown away by how different my outlook on food is. Like, where I actually, right now, I have to actually remember what time to eat and make myself a note because I have no hunger or anything like that. I am swallowing fluids okay though. So when I do go, I also figured out that when I'm full, I tried a little bit of Jello and I get a little hiccup burp, but it's pretty quiet and my nose tickles. So it's nice to know that I have those signals going, and overall I feel really positive about the procedure, and am thankful that I had the opportunity to get it done. And again, am so blessed beyond words to have people in my life that care a tremendous amount. That being said, I can go from feeling like I have energy to feeling like I'm going to pass out any minute, which is the case right now, and why you're getting this while I'm in bed. So I'll send another update soon. Take care.